I'm willing to bet that in whatever field, whatever endeavor or goal or dream that you have in front of you, that's in your head, that's in your heart, that has been placed there and you want to accomplish it. And I don't mean just barely see it to the finish line, but you want to lead through it. You want to be number one, that you want to be the best. Well, that's why, just briefly, I'm going to pull some of the idea, some of the content from Mr. Earl Nightingale in Lead Your Field. I would encourage you that if you are a business owner and entrepreneur, someone who wants to achieve more than you have already accomplished, I would encourage you to get this Lead Your Field book. It's fantastic. And so in here, I'm just going to share some of the highlights that I have after the number of years that I have used this book. You all can probably see that it is worn and that it is aged. So here's the very first thing that Earl Nightingale reminds us is that when it comes to success and leading your field, there is a magic word. Each of us as a human creature was given the godlike power to create his or her own life. Now, I don't know if that word is freeing for you or if it is convicting, knowing that you have the power to create the life that you want to live, the business that you want to have, the family that you want to enjoy, the health that you want to leverage, the education that you gain. Each of us have that creative power. That's what Earl Nightingale reminds us right off top because of the magic word. And here's what the magic word is that Earl Nightingale reminds of us of, and that is attitude. Attitude is the magic word. Our attitude tells the world what we expect in return. So let me pause right here and ask you that if the world saw your attitude, what would the world say that you respect in return? Based solely on your attitude, would the world say that you expect success or failure, abundance or lack, more than enough or scarcity? Would the world say that you expect happiness and joy or nothing but fear and mediocrity? Right? What would the world say based on the attitude of your mind and the actions that you show? What would the world want to repay you with? We tend to live up to our expectations. Now, I say up to our expectations, just like Earl Nightingale says up to our expectations, because he's expecting that our expectations are lofty. Unfortunately, as men and women, as business owners, as entrepreneurs, as spouses, as parents, sometimes we find ourselves living down to our expectations. So before we go any further, would you do an expectation audit and ask yourself, are you living up to your expectations or are you living down to your expectations? It is our attitude towards life that determines life's attitude towards us. Now, I know it might seem like these are just quotes and I might be placating to you, but this, I believe, is a reminder of how we can lead the field. Have we gotten a firm grasp on our attitude? What's your attitude about the industry that you're in right now? What's your attitude about your colleagues, coworkers, your employer? What about your customers or clients? What's your attitude about the economy, about the government, about the country that you live in? What's your attitude about your skills? You see, all of these are going to be impacted by our attitude and the outlook that we have on those. Our surroundings will always reflect us, that our environment is a mirror, often a merciless mirror of ourselves. And so this is that reminder that if we look around and if we don't like what we see, guess whose fault or responsibility it is to change the environment? It's ours. So if we find ourselves in an environment, we don't say there's something wrong with the environment. We say there must be something wrong with me. Now, not wrong in a judgmental way. Maybe it's something wrong with the way we think or the actions we are or aren't taking. So I encourage you to use that attitude mirror, use that environment mirror to see what it is that the world is giving you. And are we actually the cause of that? Remember this: our environment, the world in which we live and work, is a mirror of our attitudes and expectations. If we feel that if we feel that our environment could stand some improvement, we can bring about that change for the better by improving our attitude. We must radiate success before it will come to us. And here's a fantastic line that I want you to take away today. And that is, before you can do something, you must be something. So, what is that thing that you want to do today? Let me ask you, are you that thing? Are you successful? Are you eloquent? Are you a great communicator? When you say that you want to earn more money, are you a person who is deserving that should earn? If you are talking about relationships and you want a better marriage or relationship with your kids or your friends or colleagues, are you a better relationship? If not, Earl reminds us the first thing that we have to do is become. So I encourage you to become that thing today. And then the next piece here that I wanted to share was not the acres of diamonds, as is chapter 2. You've probably heard that story before, but a worthy destination. And Earl Nightingale mentions the whole idea of the difference between the super successful and the mediocre many. So we call that the elite few or the mediocre many. And the greatest difference is that the elite few have goals. They have a burning desire to succeed despite all handicaps. They know exactly what they want. And so let me pose this question to you in our time together. Do you know exactly what it is that you want? Have you made it so clear that you've written it down in maybe what I call my money book or your dream or vision book? If someone were to ask you right now, what is it that you want out of life? Could you go through and recite that or flip to a couple of pages and say, this is exactly what I want? Because as we just heard, we know that life gives us what we desire based on our attitudes. But having a clear set of goals are going to be very important. It's going to impact that attitude. Our goals impact our attitude impacts our goals. It's been said that what the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Now, this likely is not the first time you've heard that, but is this the time that you've needed to hear it more so than ever? Have you stopped thinking about those goals, visions, those dreams that you had as a youth, as a young girl or young boy, when you wanted to do something that might have been considered impossible, but you still hoped and dared and believed against all impossibilities? Right? I believe that today is the day that we ask ourselves, can we really do that thing? I just know that in my life, I have dared and dreamed some crazy dreams that I am now seeing come to fruition. We become what we think about. And when we're possessed by an exciting goal, we reach it. When was the last time that an exciting goal stirred you up? Whether it's for the number of sales that you want to make, maybe it's the lifestyle you want to live, the vacations you want to take. Maybe you've gotten excited about building that dream, that thing that has been inside of you. Maybe that's why you got into the industry that you're in right now, because something stirred up on the inside and you could not hold it in and you couldn't mute it any longer. What if we actually gave room for those thoughts, dreams, and actions to take form and birth? The secret of happiness is freedom, and the secret of freedom is courage. What if you were courageous enough to do that thing that you wanted to do? What if, as an entrepreneur, you actually acted on those deep rooted beliefs, goals, dreams that you know and believe God placed in your hearts, even though the market didn't say it was a good time? The environment said maybe next year. The economy was like, we don't have money, or your family, friends, or loved ones discourage you. Success is a progressive realization of a worthy goal, or in some cases, the pursuit of a worthy ideal. We're successful as long as we're working towards something we want to bring about in our lives. Now, this is not a moment of judgment from the outside in, but only you can answer the question, are you successful? Not if I look at your life, but when you look in the mirror, when you hold that mirror of attitude and environment and your dreams up against yourself. Are you successful or not? Are you doing that thing? Are you becoming that person that you said you would do? Are you chasing after something that is worthwhile, something that is worthy, something that is bigger than yourself? Maybe you have halted and you said, I don't think today is the day. Well, may I encourage you to say, today is the day, because we know it's the only day that we have. Here's a fantastic question that Earl Nightingale poses in Lead the Field. If someone asks you for your next port of call, your current goal, could you tell them? Is your goal clear and concise in your mind? Have you written it down? If you have not, Earl Nightingale tells us it's a great idea to pause this video right now. Write down that clear and concise goal. Make that vision plain, as my favorite book says. That way, we will not be lost because of a lack of vision. Life plays no favorites. Anyone can succeed, and millions do. And here's my encouragement to you. So can you. Just as I have succeeded in different areas of my life, as well as millions of people before you and I want to tell you today that if there is something here and here that hasn't been placed there without intent and purpose, that if you will strive, if you will fight, if you will go after that thing with passion, then you can be a success. And so I want to encourage you to take some time today, wherever you are, wherever you need to be, and pause, slow down, ask those questions to yourself and of yourself. What is it that I want out of this thing called life? What am I supposed to do in my limited time here on earth? Of one thing you can be sure, you will become what you think about. One goal at a time, that's important. So if I were to ask you today, what goal is in front of you? What are you going to solely focus on? Or maybe if you're in real estate, you've heard us say the one thing. What's your one thing today, this week, this month, this quarter, this year? What if you could only get one thing accomplished today? What would that one thing be? Or this week, month, quarter, or year? Because here's what we do know. If we will focus on our one thing, we'll be much further along than the mediocre many. We will join the ranks of the elite few. And so I encourage you today that on your journey to lead the field, let's focus on that magic word of attitude, and then let's use that attitude to get to our destination, and that is to the front. I would love for you to leave a comment below. Let me know what you thought of this video. Let me know what dreams you're chasing after, or the obstacles or hurdles that are in your way. We are a community and there's no judgment here. We're all about progress. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to hit that like, that thumbs up. Share this with a friend, colleague, or family member that maybe needs some encouragement, or they need to know that you're on your journey to lead the field to being number one in your industry and in your life. And ultimately, if you haven't, I would love for you to subscribe. Make sure that you're tuned in, hit that bell symbol so that you can be aware every time we drop new content right here. Most importantly, I want to let you know that I love you, God loves you, and there's nothing you can do about it. And until the next time I see you, or you see me, don't be average, be world renowned, Peace.